The Greatest Secret. By Rhonda Byrne. The greatest secret is that we are all connected and that we all have the same potential for happiness. We've been searching for this secret our entire lives, and it is closer to us than our very breath. We've been lost in our problems, and we miss the greatest discovery we can make, that we are all capable of happiness. Humans are searching for happiness, but it's not possible to find lasting happiness through material things. All of humanity's suffering comes down to a case of mistaken identity. The only way to find lasting, permanent happiness is to find out who you really are, because your true nature is happiness. When you fully recognize who you are, you will have a life without problems, without upset, hurt, worry, or fear. You will be free from the fear of death and will never again be controlled or tortured by your mind. False ideas and beliefs will dissolve. In their place will be clarity, happiness, joy, peace, infinite fun and wonder, every moment a delight. You are not your body. The greatest secret is that we are not our bodies. Our body is just a vehicle we use to move around and experience the world. We have free will to identify with the body or identify with who we really are. When we identify with who we really are, we no longer have to suffer from pain or fear. It's good news that you're not your body, because your body is going to come to an end one day, as all material things do. The world is completely made up of material things, and not one of those things will last, including your body, which appears and disappears through the process of birth and death. What you actually are never dies. You are not your mind. Your mind is just a collection of thoughts that come and go, and you are not the thoughts. The thoughts in your mind are just a part of your mind, and you are more than the thoughts. The only resident of this house of the body is the pure self, which is what you are. The rest is all made up. There are not two tenants in this body, there's only ever been one. Belief in ego gives a sense of reality, but this is not a fact, only a fiction. The author describes how we feel constantly, in all situations, as if we are small and vulnerable, and we are constantly afraid of bad things happening to us. We are also afraid of illness, old age, and dying. We live in a state of lack, believing that there is not enough of anything, including not enough happiness, love, health, or money. We also believe that we are not enough, and that we will never be happy. People think they are small because they are constantly thinking about their me and what limitations it imposes on them. When you check on any thought, you'll find that there's a me at the center of every one of them. Once you realize this, you can start to break free from the limitations your mind has put on you. The author talks about how we have to change our perspective in order to see the second image in life. This second image is the true nature of who we are, and it is infinitely grand, perfect, and in total peace. When we finally see this, we will have everything we ever wanted. Awareness. Awareness is always there, in the background, watching everything that happens. Awareness is what is aware of your mind, thoughts, and body. Without awareness, you would not be able to experience anything. The teacher sailor Bob Adamson says that we know we exist because we are constantly aware of ourselves. Awareness is the one thing that is always present, no matter what else is happening. When we are focused on our thoughts, we are not aware of what is happening around us. Awareness is always present, but when we are focused on our thoughts, it is much harder to notice it. When thoughts stop, we become consciously aware of awareness, which has been existing silently in the background all along. The awareness that we are is often overlooked or mistaken for our thoughts and emotions. Locke Kelly says that our true nature is our basic goodness, and that it is hard to accept this as our true identity. We are always aware, but we often miss it because our attention is diverted by our thoughts. According to Francis Lucille, the only problem is that we identify our witnessing presence and consciousness with our body and mind. This causes us to suffer because we miss out on the presence that is always present. When we remember our past, it is the awareness that remembers the experience. Deepak Chopra says that the truth is more real than our everyday experiences, and yet it is hardly seen or felt. Awareness is always here, and it is the foundation of our reality. The author says that we are all in contact with an infinite being, which is all perfect and all present. Due to wrong learning, we have beclouded this infinite being with concepts of limitation. For example, I am this body, I am this mind, with this physical body and mind, I have heaps and heaps of problems and troubles. In order to find true happiness, we need to turn inward and realize that we are infinite beings. This realization will bring us all the happiness, joy, love, peace, intelligence, and freedom that we are looking for. As awareness, you are infinite and all-encompassing. You are the life force that animates your body, and your thoughts and sensations are also just awareness. Other people and animals have different forms and vehicles, but they are all just different aspects of the one awareness. You are dreaming. Wake up. Our world is a dream, and we are dreaming that we are living in it. When we are permanently staying as awareness, we will know for certain that our life and the world are not the reality we thought they were, they are a dream. People are generally asleep, or in a dream state, most of the time. We are usually unaware of this, because we are usually in the egoic mind, which is usually in control. When we wake up, we may initially feel discomfort or irritation, because we are suddenly in a state of awareness. This is why it is important for spiritual teachers not to try to wake people up, because it is not their business. The Imperator's metaphor is that consciousness and awareness are like a mountain. At the bottom of the mountain, you can only see a limited amount. As you climb the mountain, your perspective expands and you can see more. Higher up, the atmosphere and vegetation are different, and you can see things that were hidden from you before. Finally, at the top of the mountain, you can see life in a whole new way and your fear of the unknown is diminished. When you reach the top of a mountain, you can see everything in all directions. You see the people in the valley and their limited perspective, and you know that there is nothing for them to fear. You see the people who are at various stages on their way up the mountain, and the various limitations of their perspective. You see the sheer exquisite beauty and perfection of absolutely everything. Freedom from mind. A mind is an amazing tool that can be used for good or bad, depending on how you use it. When you listen to your thoughts and believe them as though they are true, you are preventing yourself from living in the magnificence and glory of your true nature, awareness. By questioning the thoughts that you don't want, you can begin to live from your true self, awareness. Thoughts cause feelings, which cause more thoughts. When we have negative thoughts, we often have negative feelings, which cause more negative thoughts. It can be hard to break this cycle, but by starting to think positively, we can free ourselves from the negative thoughts and emotions that often control our lives. Our mind constantly has negative thoughts about ourselves and the world. When we believe those thoughts, we get pulled into the mind-made movie and experience more stress and suffering. Awareness is the real you, and it's awareness that is aware of your thoughts, emotions, and body. When you take responsibility for your life, you no longer allow the ego and mind to play the role of victim on your behalf. Awareness is present when you are not focused on thoughts, and you can see the world as it is without the mind's constant commentary. The author discusses how our thoughts create our reality. We constantly think about the past and the future, but neither of those things exists. All we have are the present moment and our memories. Our thoughts create our reality, and if we try to fight or eliminate our thoughts, we only power them up. Instead, we should be aware of our thoughts and accept them for what they are, just thoughts. When we become aware of our thoughts, we become free and unaffected by them. Understanding the power of feelings. How we feel is determined by our thoughts and by the feelings we choose to generate. When we have positive thoughts, we generate positive feelings, and when we have negative thoughts, we generate negative feelings. The Secret teaches us how to generate positive thoughts and to diminish or eliminate negative thoughts and feelings. The author discusses how we suppress negative feelings. We do this unconsciously by burying them and pushing them down into the subconscious. This affects our energy in our life, because the suppressed feelings are trapped in the body and play havoc on our health and our circumstances. Suppressed emotions cause negative feelings, like anger, frustration, or irritation. When these negative feelings build up, they have to find an outlet, and the most common outlet is people, circumstances, or events that disappoint us. For example, if you feel angry, you might think that the person who made you angry is to blame, or that the situation that made you angry is just unfair. But in reality, it's your anger that's causing the negative feeling. When you understand this, it makes it a lot easier to deal with your anger. Anthony de Mello says that the person who is asleep always thinks he'll feel better if somebody else changes. We spend all our time and energy trying to change external circumstances, but we never have to change anything. Negative feelings are in us, and nobody on earth has the power to make us unhappy. The end of negative feelings. The author says that for you to be happy, you need to free yourself from any negative feelings that are stopping you from living in your natural state of sheer joy and happiness. Negative feelings can be any feeling that is not a happy one, such as sadness, anger, or fear. The first thing you need to do becomes aware of these negative feelings, and the second thing you need to do is relax and not resist them. Once the energy of the negative feeling is released, the feeling will usually disappear quickly. The practices that the teacher is referring to are techniques for resisting and releasing negative feelings. The first practice is to feel the negative feeling and not resist it. The second practice is to relax and not tense up against the negative feeling. When these practices are done regularly, the energy of the negative feeling will be released and the feeling will usually disappear. Depression is caused by negative thoughts, and when you try to suppress those thoughts, it only makes the depression worse. Instead, you should welcome the depression and love it as best you can. This process will eventually release the depression, and you will experience a sense of relief that is incomparable. When you're feeling a negative emotion, try to welcome it and understand that it's just a sign that you're ready to be free of that emotion. You are the infinite being, and welcoming is your very nature. As you welcome the emotion, without trying to change it or get rid of it, you will start to feel lighter, happier, and more in control. You will be able to see that those negative feelings have been holding you back from having a life full of wonder and happiness, and with every negative feeling that is released, your life will soar. The mind tells us that we are separate, that we are vulnerable, and that we are limited. This belief is the root cause of all our suffering. When we stay aware and question the beliefs of our minds, we can end our suffering immediately. The mind creates problems when it expects things to go a certain way or when it feels like something is wrong. Problems are just mental stories that occur when the mind is focused on something that is not positive. To live a problem-free life, you must become aware of your thoughts and stop believing in the problems. Problems only exist in the mind when you are focused on them. Once you become aware of your thoughts, you will see that there are no problems. Problems are only an illusion, and when you are at peace, there are no problems. Dissolving limiting beliefs. The belief that something is too good to be true is a limiting belief. All beliefs are limited because they come from the mind. Beliefs operate as automatic programs in our subconscious, and from that moment on that belief operates as an automatic program in our subconscious, and it must project itself in the world and continue to prove itself to be true in our life. Believing something to be true is not the same thing as having a belief. Beliefs are thoughts that we buy into and hold on to, often because they make us feel safe or happy. When we become aware of our beliefs, we can start to dissolve them, freeing ourselves from the weight they have been carrying on our shoulders. When we react, we're identifying with our thoughts and emotions. We're making them personal, because they come from our perspective as a person. When we become aware of our reactions, we take the power out of our mind to react, and we also expose the belief that caused the reaction. Once exposed, the belief will dissolve. You are happiness. You are intrinsically happy and don't need external things to feel happiness. Happiness comes from within. When you experience your true nature of happiness, you will only want to live your life in that state. The awareness that we are happiness is what makes us happy. The happiness we experience in life comes from grace, and is a glimpse of our true nature. When we are happy, problems tend to solve themselves, and things fall into place easily. The happier we are, the more effortless our life is. The more unhappy we are, the more effort it will take for everything we do. Happiness comes from within, not from things in the outside world. When we try to find happiness by waiting for things to happen, we often end up disappointed. Instead, we should focus on our true nature, which is happiness. When we identify with our true nature, happiness will come naturally. When people found themselves in the presence of Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, or any other fully enlightened being, any negativity within them dissolved immediately. That's how powerful pure, unconditional love is. It will dissolve all discord and negativity immediately. It will dissolve anything and everything that is not love. This all-powerful love is your true nature. It is you. Our physical world is an illusion, and everything in it is nothing more than empty space. The matter is just thoughts projected by the mind. Everything appearing as solid and material is actually an image, and the experience of the dream or reality is entirely in the mind. Awareness is the power that can turn thoughts into an apparent universe. The universe came out of consciousness, and consciousness is infinite. The world, the universe, and everything in it, including your body, are all in awareness. While we remain attached to our own beliefs and the belief that we are separate individuals, the world will never be at peace. Freedom from any suffering doesn't depend on the world coming to peace, it depends on your seeing that you have mistaken yourself for only a person, and on your experiencing yourself as the only infinite being. End of the summary. Thanks for listening.